Officially, it was called Operation Overlord and the beginning of the Battle of Normandy. But June 6, 1944 is more widely known as D-Day. It was the largest amphibious invasion ever attempted. Almost 160,000 Allied troops, fighting men from the United States, the United Kingdom, and Canada, directly involved in a ferocious battle against the heavily fortified positions of Nazi Germany in occupied France. The Allies' success was not guaranteed. Their leaders had been told the casualties could be incredibly high. Exactly how many troops died on D-Day itself is still unknown. One official estimate puts the Allied number killed at 4,414, the majority of them Americans, while estimates of German deaths range widely between 4,000 and 9,000. The initial assault focused on 5 beaches of Normandy, France. Their code names were Gold, Juno, Omaha, Sword, and Utah. And by the night of June 6th, all 5 were under Allied control. The high-risk, high-stakes invasion had been a success. Experts say it was the beginning of the end for the Nazis' domination of Europe. The Allies had gained a foothold in France. It allowed them to establish positions from where they could bring in reinforcements, supplies, and vehicles to fight the Axis. Hello everyone, my name is Carl Azuz. Thank you for taking some time to watch our special D-Day anniversary coverage on the world from A to Z. That coverage continues in France as we follow the return of some D-Day veterans to the region of Normandy. It's been exactly 80 years since their fight here took place. The youngest of those still alive are in their mid-90s now. Ceremonies marking the significant milestone are planned across France, and the U.S. government says 24 American D-Day troops were planning to travel there for what could be the last major anniversary for veterans of the Allied invasion. For those who made the trip and those who didn't, it's an opportunity to remember, reflect, and receive the honor that they and those they fought with so valiantly earned.
From the other side of the Atlantic, they returned to the continent they'd liberated a lifetime ago. Some of the last living American World War II veterans struggling with the steps, but not with their memories of June 6, 1944.
I felt that mankind had lost its way.
80 years on, the veterans arrived to a hero's welcome and with a distinct twinkle in their eye.
Beautiful day. Nice girls like you, so we're satisfied.
These are the shores where the men landed, taking the first faltering steps towards the liberation of France and of Europe. The very youngest veterans expected here this week are 96, which means they were just 16 at the time and had to lie about their age in order to be allowed to fight.
The first of the more than 100,000 men that landed in Normandy on June 6 came by air, ferried through the darkness into the unknown.
We took off at 2:30 in the morning, completely blackout takeoff. You remember things like that.
The paratroopers' planes still fly today, the memories of the men who've now passed, kept alive on recordings like these.
And everybody was very quiet, no conversation, no jocularity, nothing.
I always thought God was with me.
When the green light went on, we went out right then.
18 men are going out that door in 11 seconds.
Well, I'm lucky I'm alive.
But even for those who survived, the cost has been unimaginable.
My mother and father gave you my 4 elder brothers. We lost one, and he's buried in Lorraine.
Beyond those few returning here this week, the last living witnesses of what happened here, the 80th anniversary of D-Day is mainly about those who never left.
Their memory honored with sand taken from the beaches where they landed and died. For the freedom of people they'd never met in a country they'd never seen. Melissa Bell, Normandy.
On this date in world history. Couple other historic events that took place on June 6th include the Great Seattle Fire of 1889. It started in a pot of glue at a downtown woodworking shop and spread very quickly, destroying hundreds of businesses in the city. But the rebuilding process made for safer construction and Seattle's population grew. The YMCA was founded on this date, but long before the Village People. We're talking 1844 in London, when a department store worker named George Williams and 11 others established the Young Men's Christian Association. One goal was to provide a safe place to help keep young city workers off the streets. And a French-Canadian man named Alexis St. Martin was accidentally shot on this date in 1822. He survived, but his wound never completely healed. It left a visible hole into his stomach, and that allowed an American Army doctor to do some research that was ethically controversial, but helped give a greater understanding of the human digestive system.
World of knowledge. Liechtenstein is one of the only 2 countries in the world that are doubly landlocked. What is the other nation? Uzbekistan, Central African Republic, Slovakia, Holy See, Vatican City. Along with Liechtenstein, the only other doubly landlocked nation, meaning even its border countries are landlocked, is Uzbekistan.
Over the course of our first academic year on the world from A to Z, we visited 96 countries, but Uzbekistan wasn't one of them until today. Our next story takes us to the Central Asian Republic, where an ancient tradition of papermaking is being preserved one page at a time.
Skilled craftsmen are hard at work at a marrow paper factory in a small Uzbekistan village. They're keeping the ancient silk papermaking tradition going. Their product has one essential ingredient, the bark of a mulberry tree.
The paper is called silk because it is made of mulberry, which was carried along the Silk Road. Also because it's smooth and shiny like silk.
It all involves a lot of tedious and painstaking labor.
1-year-old mulberry branches are soaked in water for 2 to 3 days. After they become soft, the shells are easily separated from the wood, and we peel off the bark with a knife.
In the final stage of production, the paper is polished with an agate stone. The techniques go back to the 8th century, but legend suggests it was a betrayal that brought the papermaking craft to the city.
In Kazakhstan, near the Talas River, the Arabs fought with the Chinese. When the Arabs won, they captured Chinese soldiers, and among them were scientists, artisans, and one soldier who knew the secrets of papermaking.
To save their lives, craftsmen revealed their secrets. Smarkin masters adopted the craft, and paper production grew as it became popular for use in writing manuscripts. Today, the call for silk paper survives, supplying conservators working to restore ancient manuscripts. It's also popular because of its smoothness, color, and variety. But the paper's main feature is its durability. It can last for more than 2,000 years. Because of its longevity, silk paper is keeping Samarkand's history alive.
As our season winds down, we're announcing 5 schools per day to shout out as many as we can. That starts in Ludington, Michigan, home of the Orioles at O.J. DeYoung Middle School. Thanks to all y'all for watching our show. 2 states northwest, we're excited to see Mr. LeBeau's class at North Junior High School. It's in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Mr. Ferrigno's class is next. The High School of Science and Technology is with us from Springfield, Massachusetts. We're making a stop at Jackson, Tennessee to recognize Miss Fortney's students. Hello to our friends at Northside High School. And Mrs. Larson, who has the same name as one of my good teachers, is online at Voyager Middle School in Everett, Washington. Last story, a battle of bears versus campsite, and spoiler alert, the campsite's not gonna make it. You know how rangers and park officials say to keep your food and garbage secure when camping? Well, here's why. A trio of black bears on National Black Bear Day went to town and tore it down at a zoo in California. But Carl, you might be asking, why were people camping at a zoo? They weren't. This was a staged event, a setup by zookeepers to show you what could happen at camp if these animals are able to sample your porridge. So you gotta keep it Goldilocks up, because while it's not a grim fairy tale, it could be a grim scene if 3 bears thought your camp was just right and barreled through with unbearably bad behavior to ferociously sabotage your bear longings without a bear in the world. We hope you can bear one more webcast of the world from A to Z, as that's tomorrow, and it would mean the world to have you watching. I'm Carl Azuz.